let's jump into it.
Just gonna go slaughter some puppies. I won't, I promise.
Imagine if
joking.
I just came into the video with that comment. Like,
maybe you should. No context, no explanation.
G'day, everybody. Welcome to another Wednesday night up late video with Glenn and Chloe. My name's Glenn.
I'm Chloe.
And we got it right, and that's good. And may as well quit while we're ahead.
And later.
Yes.
Have a good week, everyone.
So I say every week I come to the video tired because we do this late at night. As I was talking to you off mic, my family is in isolation this time. My wife and I are good, but my kids have it. Fingers crossed. It's been almost the week now, so we're pretty confident. Touch wood. But I've spent today doing fuck all. Spent over half the day just on my bed scrolling through TikTok, and I'm so knackered from doing nothing.
It's so good to just stop, but it is also exhausting because everything just catches up to you and you just crash. So I have no doubt that you're tired from doing nothing.
Yeah, I feel so lethargic, and I've got no energy here, but we'll do our best.
Absolutely, we will. Hey, I watched a new movie today. So, well, it's not a new movie, but new for me because I haven't seen it. So we can even just start there if you like.
Fire away.
I jumped on the bandwagon, and I'm really, really ashamed to admit this, but I'd never seen The Greatest Showman. And I know, and you mentioned it last week. So I thought, why not? Now's as good a time as any, and I did it. And yeah, I understand. I understand why people were so enwrapped with it. It was a roller coaster. When I thought something was going to happen, something completely opposite happened, and it was beautiful and colorful and dark, and it was just brilliant.
It's a strange movie because I saw that for the first time. I took my wife and son to see it at a cinema. They had no idea what we were going to, and I did, but I really wasn't comprehending how much of a musical it was. I just thought it was like the Barnum story. And yeah, that first viewing, you come out energized, like, oh, that was fucking great. But then you go back and watch it again, and the energy is twice as much in the third time. Like, it gets bigger and bigger every time you watch it because you get used to the songs, you can sing along. It just becomes, this thing that wraps itself around you. I love it. Like, I don't care what anyone says. I think it's a banger. Like, I really do.
I absolutely loved it because I fell in love and fell out of love with the characters so many times within that space of time. And it kept me on the edge because obviously I had a small idea about what it was about, but I hadn't delved into it at all. And I loved discovering that storyline. It was just brilliant. It was, cool. I think it was great. So anyway, that's how I spent my day.
Fantastic. That makes me happy. And not to mention, you probably would have been aware of half of the songs before you saw it. So, you would have gone into it already aware of, how it sounds. And
yeah, I did. I had an idea of it in musically. But again, character-wise and story arc-wise, I had no idea. There was characters in there that I didn't even know existed, and it was just wonderful to see how it all played out. And Zac Efron is just in anything he does for me. So that was an added bonus. And Zendaya is just, she's gorgeous and brilliant and talented, and I can't rave enough about it. And just wondering when people are going to start seeing this movie, Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned Zac Efron because the new trailer for Firestarter just dropped, which, most people that follow us at Good Movie Monday will be well aware of this Stephen King movie back in the 80s. I think it was 84 with Drew Barrymore. And this is a new adaptation of that same movie. So have you seen the trailer?
You want to know something funny?
Yeah.
I watched it about 10 minutes ago for the first time. I saw it pop up, and I love a bit of Drew, so I thought I'd have a look at this reimagining of the movie, and then I saw those brilliant blue eyes and was just hooked.
I was almost going to send you the link and say, hey, watch this before we talk, but I thought, one, you've probably already watched it, or two, if you haven't, oh well, that's just conversation. But yes, I love this film from the 80s.
It's just an
It is.
iconic cover too. Like that cover is just, you know what it is as soon as you see that cover.
They were the glory years of Stephen King adaptations, like the early to mid, maybe even to late 80s is where the real gold was, particularly with the books he wrote, but the films that got made from the books, they've never been a stronger string of King work. I mean, now we're getting the same kind of shit where they're doing new adaptations of movies they've already done.
Yeah.
Pet Cemetery and all that kind of stuff. But yeah. And did you know there was a Firestarter 2?
Oh, I didn't. Is that
Yes.
Ashley Green? Who is that?
That is what's her name? Margaret Moreau.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, it's got Dennis Hopper and Malcolm McDowell in it too. But yeah, it's
Obviously,
number
you
2.
love it.
I don't love it. I like it. It's a. I guess they presented it more of a mini series because it was 2 sort of 1 hour episodes on television. But it's okay. It's not bad. It's presented as if she's now a young woman in her 20s and still on the run and just picks up the
There you
same
go.
themes. Yeah.
It's a continuation of the movie, so I can get behind that. That's good.
Yeah, and it's been a big week for trailers in general because Jurassic World Dominion trailer dropped. Did you watch that one?
I have seen most of it. I've seen snippets of it. I was seeing snippets of it on TikTok, so I stopped those videos so I could go back and rewatch the whole thing, but I still haven't done it fully. But yeah, chills, man, chills.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because the Jurassic Park franchise in general, they're so easy to make fun of. Like after the original first one, it's so easy to watch one of the sequels and hate on it. But the only one I've actually hated was the previous one, Fallen Kingdom, which was the second Chris Pratt one.
Okay, yep.
This one though, like I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt. It's kind of what I've hoped Jurassic Park would always do, in that is bring the Jurassic Kingdom into the real world, and what happens when they get out of control and all that kind of stuff. And
it'll be interesting. I think I'll really
interesting.
like it. I think it'll be really good, and it's going to smash it at the box office too.
And I kind of just hope that in the end, the dinosaurs win. It's the realistic, conclusion, really.
A whole don't look up situation.
Yeah, like it's if dinosaurs are going to flourish, we're not going to win.
Well, I mean, it'd be very hard. Very, very hard. They were only wiped out because a giant fucking asteroid came down and destroyed half the planet. So I mean,
the trailer, it did look pretty fun. I like that it's blending the two franchises. The one franchise with the two kind of arms into one, having what's his name, Malcolm and Dr. Grant and Sam Neill.
I mean, in the first sort of reimagined, the first Chris Pratt one, when the boys got lost and you found those old trucks with the original logo and stuff, that was exciting in itself. So having these characters come back is just gonna blow it away. It's just gonna be awesome.
That's right. Just acknowledging that this is the same universe and this is the same same storyline just years later. That really appealed to me. And even though Jurassic World, the first one with Chris Pratt, was a re-imaging of Jurassic Park, it still played very well for me. Like I really loved it. I thought it was a good continuation. And then they fucked up with the next one. But hopefully we can get back on track. Every franchise.
I don't think I've seen that one. I haven't seen the second one in the series, so I think I might have to go and watch that before I watch the new one.
It's almost more of a horror film in some regards because it starts off pretty strong. A volcano goes off on the island and the dinosaurs are running amok. But then this, as they always do, billionaire comes in and poaches some of the dinosaurs and then takes them to the mainland to sell at auction in like some rich billionaire's underground auctioneer world.
Of course.
And then the dinosaurs run amok in a mansion, and it's like, come on, like this is stupid.
Oh, that doesn't actually sound that crap. I'd quite like to watch that, but like I understand.
Give it a shot. But like, I mean, this is someone that's a diehard Jurassic fan, and for that film just to go in the direction it did, I'm like, what a wasted opportunity. But anyway. New one coming. Let's see how it concludes and whether it will be the conclusion or whether we'll get another trilogy.
Well, never say never. We've had a couple of trilogies of Spider-Man in the space of 20 years. So, I mean, there's always room, apparently. So
that's true. And what was the other trailer that dropped on Sunday was Jordan Peele's new film, Nope.
I just watched that trailer as well, just before Firestarter. So, look, it looks a little bit scary for me.
Well, he does make
Not
horror
gonna
films.
lie. Yeah, look, I'm not doubting his brilliance. I think I used to watch Key and Peele religiously, so I'm already a huge fan. He's married to Chelsea Peretti, who I love. So again, mad props there. And I have no doubt of his well, didn't he win the Oscar for did he win an Oscar?
Get Out?
Yeah, for Get Out. Didn't he win that?
Oh, I can't recall. It might be maybe one screenplay. Maybe.
I mean, he's definitely proved himself by stepping out of the bounds of comedy and doing it. But it looked interesting.
It had a very strong Stephen King feel to it. It had a very Ray Bradbury feel to it. There's a movie back in the 80s called Something Wicked This Way Comes, which this one clearly plays a lot of umbrage to. It also has a bit of a Critters / War of the Worlds kind of vibe going on.
I was going to say War of the Worlds, but I don't know if that's because that's the vibe I was getting or because I saw that you watched it over the weekend. So I wasn't quite sure if I was getting that, but I did get a little bit of those vibes as well.
Yeah, but they're being clever in the marketing and not giving anything away, which I hope they stick with that and not do the trailer number 1, trailer number 2, trailer number 3, and then you get to trailer number 10 and you've seen the whole film anyway. So
I mean, he seems smart, so I don't think he would do that, but fingers crossed because
he doesn't have a choice. It's the studio, but I think he's gotten to the point now. This is his 3rd film in that he's probably got enough autonomy now that he's delivered 2 bangers that he can get away with that. But
I love the title though. The title is great.
Yeah,
like because you can spell that any which way. You're like, nope.
Yep.
Nope.
That's right. That is right. And no doubt, being the filmmaker that he is, I mean, we've already seen in the trailer, it's going to be very socially relevant in a commentary kind of way. And I think the nope, which they illustrated in the trailer, was very much like that African American. Oh, how nope? That kind of thing. Like, nope. Yeah. And I think that's kind of where he's going with the title. But wait and see. It'll be interesting. I'm on board. I didn't like Us, the middle one he did, the previous film. But I did like Get Out. So elevated horror is what they call that, according to the most recent Scream movie. That's what we call these kind of horror films.
Does he incorporate a lot of comedic value into it as well, or is it purely horror?
It's purely horror. It's there's satire because it is very satirical, and like Get Out was all sort of it's a bit like Stepford Wives. It was a bit race related and an allegory for the racial tensions, as was Us in a much more blatant kind of sense. So no doubt this will be definitely a reflection on where he thinks society is at and that kind of stuff, which is where the whole elevated horror term comes from.
Fair enough. Yep.
But well, let's wait and see. I don't know if there were any other trailers that came out. It don't matter.
I'm trying to think. But sticking on the whole Zac Efron vibe, have you seen Gold?
No, I haven't watched it yet.
Is it appealing to you? Is that something that you would? No. Yeah. See, neither.
Yeah.
To me, it looks like a pretty pandemic movie where they made it for as little as possible with a little amount as possible and tried to make it something. You know what I mean? It's
got lots of components that I should gravitate towards. So it's Aussie. I love Aussie films. Like, I'm big on Aussie films. It's got a treasure hunt component to it. I love a treasure hunt kind of movie. But I don't know. Like, I don't like the feel of the trailer. It's just nothing's ringing true to me, and there hasn't been a lot of raving going on from colleagues and things like that. So I'm just gonna one day it'll take my fancy and I'll go fuck it and watch it. But
I'm the same. I'm in no hurry either, and it's quite disappointing because I want to watch it. You know what I mean? Like I want to, but I just don't want to at the same time.
Hey, it might blow my socks off, but I'm just not keen to get there. I like with what I do, like with writing for other publications, getting assigned to watch these movies is the better way to do it because
you have no choice.
I'm forced to absorb it, and quite often I come out going, "Fuck, that was amazing," and I probably wouldn't have watched it otherwise.
Yeah, well, there you go. You always seem to find the silver lining in these conversations, Glenn.
Speaking of, and look out for this video tomorrow night. Ben and I did a reaction video. We watched the new biopic of Celine Dion, and I tell you what, this is a fucking nightmare. It's gonna haunt your dream. No. It's good. It's good and bad at the same time, right? So it's called Aline, so Aline, because they couldn't use Celine's name, and yet for some reason they still used all of her music. But anyway, and it's a French Canadian film, and the most hilariously terrifying part of it is they start off with her childhood, and it begins with her first performances. She's about 7 years old at a wedding, and she's told to perform. But the actress that plays her as an adult is also the writer and director, and she's about 60 years old. She plays like the 6, 7, 8-year-old Celine. It's like they've deep faked her face onto like a little body, and it's so fucking. It's like a nightmare, I tell you. And then it goes up through like now she's 12 years old. Now she gets a record contract, and her face is like deep faked on this other body. And as Ben pointed out, when she was like 7 or 8 years old at this wedding, she's under a table, and somebody says, "Eileen, come on," and her hand comes up, and it's like a 60-year-old's hand. It's like, what? But let me tell you, once she becomes of age, like 20 and moving through, it's really hypnotic. Like, it is actually good. The production value is fantastic. The big concert scenes are really well done. And it's completely like, you can buy into it. But that first 20 minutes, I'll tell you what.
Seems like a car crash. Like you want to look away, but you can't. Kind of like that.
I easily watched it right to the end, and I watched it with my wife, Melissa, and she got a lot out of it too. We ended it going, wow, that was fun. You know, what was that?
Interesting. Very interesting.
So our reaction video will be tomorrow night.
I'm going to look out for that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to look out for that movie because I need something to laugh at. So, and that sounds like something that I could, like, it seems like they twilighted that, you know, when they superimposed the bit, like they made it robotic, but it was like CG weird, just weird.
Yeah, but this one feels a little bit more like Little Man, the Wayans Brothers movie.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh, that's not good. That's not good.
Anyway, hey, another video that dropped tonight just before our video, earlier at 6 o'clock. I interviewed an actor that some people might remember from the 80s called Joshua John Miller, and he was in the movie Near Dark and a whole bunch of other movies as well. And interviewed him as part of the Melbourne Horror Film Society's screening coming up in a week. So
very nice.
Everyone, if you haven't seen that on our socials, go back and watch it. It's a really good interview, and we talk all about Near Dark and a few other films. So yeah,
very exciting,
including a brand new one he's directing that's got Russell Crowe and Sam Worthington in.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah. Good on him.
There's some promo right in the middle of our video.
It's fine. It's fine.
What would you like to promote?
Myself. I'm just, right. You know. No, stop it. Go away.
We're promoting the Cruella look.
Me slaughtering some puppies with my Cruella de Vil stripe.
And there's the context for everybody.
Yeah, we're telling you about my terrible haircut with my stripe there. Just need a big fur coat. Actually, I think I do a very good Cruella de Vil because I can be quite evil sometimes.
Yeah, I saw how evil you were on a video on the weekend, filming your kids in the back calling them wieners.
Well, they were being wieners. Let's just be honest.
That was a thing in my family too. Wiener was the thing that we would call each other.
I've never called my children wieners before in my life, and I don't know why it came out of my mouth. And I just said to my youngest, "You're a wiener," and he's 2.5.
You like it?
He sat in the back and he's like, "Mom, I'm not a wiener," and just like the way it sounded coming out of his mouth was just so cute. Speaking of children, we've dropped Encanto at the moment.
I thought you were going to say, speaking of wieners.
Oh, speaking of wieners. Well, I mean, wieners tie into it too, actually. So here we go. Awesome. Speaking of children and wiener. Nope, let's cut that bit out.
I'm just glad it was you and not me. Continue.
We've dropped Encanto. And we've gone back to Tarzan, good old-fashioned Phil Collins Tarzan, which was definitely one of my favorites when I was younger. And it's also one of my favorite soundtracks of all time.
Wow, cool. That's a good movie. It's one of those Disney films that kind of fell by the wayside. I think there were a few after that Renaissance period of Disney doing your Beauty and the Beast and Aladdin, all that kind of stuff, Lion King. Then came that sort of early 2000s era where the movies kind of just didn't hit.
Yeah, this one always hit for me. I don't know why. It had a lot of comedy to it, which I loved, and Minnie Driver is just
Yeah.
She's great. And Phil Collins. Phil Collins is always, I've never known who Phil Collins is, but I've always known who Phil Collins is, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
So
I do.
his music just hits me in the right spot. And that soundtrack just gives me emotions, and it plays that movie so bloody well.
Yeah.
And kind of like the Romeo and Juliet soundtrack for me as well. Those two soundtracks, you just cannot get better soundtracks for me.
Awesome.
It's a winner. Do you have I don't know if I've asked you this before, but do you have a favorite movie soundtrack?
Yes, I think it would have to be the Natural Born Killers soundtrack, which
I think I have asked you this before.
produced by Trent Reznor from Nine Inch Nails, but
yeah,
there's only like one or two of his songs in it. The rest of it's other artists. But yeah, no, that's a banger. I love it.
There's always something that just really sort of sticks with you, and it just makes the movie for you. And I never kind of realized just how much music does for movies until I started looking into it on my own as well. Yeah, it hits me differently.
I think the other ones, there's a movie in the late 90s, Doug Liman's first film called Go, which is an amazing film. It's got Katie Holmes and a few other people. That's got a great soundtrack that I still listen to. And like oddly, Batman Forever has an incredible soundtrack. It's U2 and Seal had the big single from it, and yeah, that's just a dynamite soundtrack.
Love me some Seal.
Yeah, I remember if you watch the Vacation reboot they did, the Seal song from Batman Forever is like an ongoing theme throughout the movie, where Ed Helms is trying to sing it with his family and have them sing along, but they're not doing it, and he just keeps he keeps singing and he goes, "No, Batman Forever, come on, get into it."
I love Ed Helms.
I was into it. I'm so
great.
If I was in your backseat, I would sing along.
If I was in his backseat, I'd do whatever he wanted me to do. So
Well, okay, well,
sing or whatever.
You take Ed. I'll take Christina Applegate.
That's fine. I mean, I'd take her too, but
All right, so we've got about 10 minutes left, which is probably good amount of time, because I want to talk about the Oscars, because the nominations were listed. I've got them on my phone here, so I'm just bringing them up. I mean, interesting. Who was it? Seth Rogen this week made some good, interesting sort of comments about how he doesn't see why people really should care about the Oscars anymore, because it is a dwindling thing. Like, they're just not as popular as they used to be.
Yeah, they were huge. And now nobody just gives a fuck.
I think there's a couple of factors here, but he makes the point that why should people these days really care about them congratulating each other and giving awards to each other? Because he goes, I don't care about the Mechanics Awards and what they do. Like, why should people care about ours? Which makes some sense, but I guess at the same time they make movies for us, so that's why we care. But I also think they've just become too politicized over the last few years, and that's just turned people off. Like, the world itself is too politicized, so when we turn to movies for entertainment, why do we want more of that?
Yeah, I mean, I guess they have a giant audience, so they're always trying to make some sort of point so it gets across the broader spectrum of things and they can get their message across, which I appreciate. Any one of us would do it if we had the chance to promote ourselves through a wider spectrum, we probably would. But I completely agree with you. I've liked the Oscars. I've never been huge on the Oscars. I mostly just like looking at the pretty dresses, to be honest.
It used to be religious for me. Like, I would take that day off every single year and I would watch it live. But now I've missed the last 3 years and just watched the rerun, and that hasn't really done it for me either. But I also think the movie landscape has changed. Since Disney and Marvel have started dominating, the kind of movies people care about now are just not the kind they used to. And they still nominate the type of movies they used to. Those sort of more arty kind of films that just aren't screening at box office anymore, that quite often have only spent 1 week on a cinema screen because their streaming services have produced them.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's go through it. So the nominees, we'll start with, I'll just go in the order that the Oscars website has them. So Best Leading Actor. Who we got? Hey, what's his name? Javier Bardem
Mhm.
That's how you pronounce his name, for being the Ricardos. That was pretty good. I like that one.
Okay.
Benedict Cumberbatch for Power of the Dog. Andrew Garfield for Tick, Tick, Boom. Will Smith for King Richard, and Denzel Washington for the tragedy Macbeth. So some interesting ones there. Let's read through them all, and then we'll just maybe focus on the movies.
Yeah, sure.
All right. So best actress in a supporting role, actor in a supporting role. Kieran Hines for Belfast, Troy Kotzer for Coda, Jesse Plemons for Power of the Dog, J.K. Simmons for Being the Ricardos, and Cody Smith-McPhee for Power of the Dog. So there's an Aussie one. Actress in a leading role, Jessica Chastain for The Eyes of Tammy Faye, Olivia Colman for The Lost Daughter, Penelope Cruz for Parallel Mothers, Nicole Kidman for Being the Ricardos, and Kirsten Stewart for Spencer. And then actress in a supporting role, Jessie Buckley for The Lost Daughter, Adriana DeBose for West Side Story, Judi Dench for Belfast, Kirsten Dunst for Power of the Dog, and I can't pronounce this one. Anna Jules Elise for King Richard. I don't know who she is, but anyway, let's go to the best film and we can talk about those. And that's the other thing. There are too many nominations for best film these days. It used to be 5, and now we've got like 10. Okay. Belfast, Coda, Don't Look Up, Drive My Car, Dune, King Richard, Licorice Pizza, Nightmare Alley, Power of the Dog, and West Side Story. So I've seen most of those. I haven't seen all of them. I don't think it's a great lineup of films, to be honest.
Yeah, look, I'm not completely wowed by it.
No.
I'm just, it's a little bit blah. Like,
I don't think West Side Story belongs in there. Yeah, Dune. No, I don't think Dune belongs in there. A lot of people watching might disagree, probably will. But West Side Story, as much as I love Spielberg, I don't think that was good enough to warrant an Oscar nom, not for Best Picture. Don't Look Up definitely doesn't belong in there. That was like, what the fuck is that doing there? That felt like, once again, they're just pandering to something political. I like seeing Nightmare Alley in there simply because I like it when real good quality horror films are nominated for Oscar. Doesn't happen often, but it does sometimes. But there's only 2 in there that I would say are actual contenders for best film. And for me, it would be Belfast and Licorice Pizza. They're the only 2.
I disagree slightly. I haven't seen those other 2, so I can't really play too much of a part. But I actually really liked Don't Look Up. I mean, is it worthy of an Oscar nom? Maybe. I didn't even recognize Cate Blanchett at one point there. I had to kind of stop for a minute, be like, where is she? Until it clicked. So I think, makeup wise, all that kind of stuff, the effects is quite good. The storyline, I think, is great. I think Jonah Hill fucking knocked it out of the park. And I know you hate Meryl Streep, but I think she's brilliant. And I loved her in it. This cast was just was awesome. And I love that they didn't pander to the traditional storyline. And it was predictable but unpredictable at the same time. So if that's worthy of an Oscar nom, I think maybe, but I think there were others that probably...
There might be some Oscar noms in the film, like, that are not Best Picture. Like,
maybe not Best Picture, maybe screenplay or or even Jennifer Lawrence or Jonah Hill or something. But
yeah, I mean, I do think the weakest links in that film, much to your disagreement, are definitely Jonah Hill and Meryl Streep. Not because I dislike them, but because I feel like I just found, I guess, bottom line, it didn't know what it wanted to be. Is it a satire? Is it a serious, drama? It just. I
think it was the perfect mix of all.
Yeah, that's just a crock pot to me. That's like just a.
It was a crock pot. Yeah. I completely agree with that. It was a crock pot and it was full of everything, and to me that's a great movie. It is, because it made me be like, holy fuck, and also made me laugh. And also I got to see some of my favorite people on screen playing, interesting characters, and, seeing Timothée Chalamet play like an Eshe type fucking character was great. I loved that. I think it was fantastic. Anyway, I really rate the movie. I don't know. I'm still with you. I don't think it is worthy of an Oscar nom. But anyway, should we move on? Because we've spent a lot of time on Don't Look Up.
We're just about out of time.
Oh, sorry. I hogged
Hey,
it. I hogged.
I did all the talking. Don't worry about that. What else is there? I didn't really have much else, but if you haven't seen Licorice Pizza, get on that. I think that's the one that probably should win. That or Belfast. They're my
Okay.
picks. We're gonna do an episode of Good Movie Monday at the end of March, all about the Oscars. So we'll all get to predict who we think's gonna win, and that'll be fun.
And I've changed my mind about Kristen Stewart in terms of her playing Diana. I've seen a few clips and I don't think she's doing too bad. I don't think she's.
It was a turd of a film.
Oh, really? No, don't tell me. Don't tell me because I've only seen clips.
Okay.
I love Diana. Love her.
I think I wrote a review of that. So anyone that wants to know my actual opinion of that film, she was great. She was excellent in it. I'll give you that. But I think just type Glenn Cochran, Spencer, and you'll find a review somewhere. I can't remember who I wrote that for. But,
oh my God, you're so popular, just writing for everybody, Glenn.
Oh my God.
Oh my, you do the hair flip. There you go.
Anyway, you've got Puppies to Kill.
I do.
Yeah.
They're fucking out.
I've got handbags to make, so.
Oh, good one. That's a good one.
I don't even know what it means.